Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk to you about The Boys, Season 1, the Rundown Review. I love The Boys. It is like one of the best superhero comic book shows ever on Amazon Prime. It's raw, it's gritty, it's in your face, it's smash mouth, it's like unapologetic, it's just like all kinds of awesome. If I only had one complaint, it would be that there's no action in this show, which is weird because it's about superheroes and stuff. But I get why that is because the people fighting them are just regular humans and stuff, so they would take them out very easily. But there's barely any action of any kind. Now, in the second season, it's the same way, but there is a little bit more of a fight when Stormfront comes in. But this is a very interesting comic book show. See, originally this was based off of like a DC comic before they went to like a different company. And it was created by Garth Ennis and Dark Robertson. And what they do is that they flip the script. See, the superheroes are actually the supervillains somewhat, and the villains are the heroes somewhat, but more like vigilantes and stuff. It shows the downfall of what being a superhero is like, which is not all fun and games. Because they have like all these powers, all this aggression. Um, they feel, if I have the power, why can't I rule stuff, And then, it's like other little things, like when they give somebody a hug, they might hug them a little too hard. When they're in the bedroom with them, certain things get blown off or frozen off or cut off. And it's a weird way to look at superheroes that people never thought of before. And it's very intriguing and done very well. Now, for the most part, the show pretty much is like, it's scene from the comic, but they do change some stuff up. Some people are gender bent. The whole plane crash thing, that was completely different setting from the comic. And it's just insane. Now, I will say this. Even though there's no action, there's still people who die. It is bloody. This is how Moon Knight should have been. Like right here, like the much blood, people faces getting ripped off, their heads getting smashed up. Like it's insane. The CGI on this is incredible. It looks like movie version CGI, not that of a TV show. They really put a lot of money to make everything look realistic. When like Homelander flies, he looks like he's flying. When he's using his heat vision, it looks real. It looks more real than that of DCEU and Marvel combined. I mean, the CGI is always on point. The costumes look amazing for like a TV show, and because they don't fight, they're allowed to be as tight as possible without having to move around and stuff. So they look a whole lot better. Some of them actually looks better than that of like movies, except for Black Noir. Ooh, excuse me, I almost like had a yawn. Black Noir. His suit looks a little cheap and stuff, but everybody else, because he has the one that actually has to like do stuff, so his suit, is the cheapest looking one, but everybody else is like amazing. Now these are kind of like a parody off of that of comic heroes, mostly of the Justice League. Um, Now, in this, there are superheroes galore, like all over the place. But not all of them fight crime and everything. See, the interesting thing about this is that we find out that the superheroes about as fake can be when it comes to rescuing people. For the most part, they're more about being celebrities, superstars, and everything. They fake a lot of their stuff. When they doing like interviews with people, then they like say they're interviewing like the superhero, and he's talking to like a military person. Ooh, sorry, it's late. Well, it's not even a real military person; it's an actor and everything. And so they fake a lot of that stuff. Sometimes they fake a couple of their fights. Now, their fights, when they stopping criminals, that is real. They have like this technology that can like scan around and see when a crime is happening, and then they send the person over there. And then They have like the PR person and the writing person that helps them explain things. It's all about fame and stuff. And they make like a lot of movies, TV show, commercials. They sign things, go to Comic Con, they go to church events. They do all kind of things just to get like good in the public eye, and the public like falls for it, right? And it's just insane. Now they are killers, so they're like the Punisher. When they fight you, they're gonna kill you and everything because they want to take criminals off the streets. It's insane. Like, you have to watch this show. Like, that's the only way to explain it. It's insane. And there is humor, but unlike the MCU, it's not baby humor. It's mature, like adult humor and everything. And that's the way the MCU should be. It should be mature with all that stinking baby crap they do. And so when it comes to the heroes, there's this group called the Seven. Now, Vault is like this big company that has like tons of superheroes and stuff. They're the one who do like the PR stuff, the writing stuff, and all this other stuff, right? And the Seven is like the Justice League. So you have Homelander. He's like a cross between Superman and Captain America. A little bit of Captain America, not much, because the Captain America dude is gonna appear in season 3 that's coming up this June, like very early June. And instead of dropping it all at once, it's gonna be weekly, so that kind of sucks. They caught on to people on the streaming sites. People tried to cheat the system, and they caught on to us. Because what people would do is they'll wait till the season's over with, and then they'll like do the free subscription, or they'll just like buy it for like that month or week or whatever, and then cancel it. So he has like super speed, strength. He can fly, laser vision. That's about it. But he's not as strong as Superman. Then you have Queen Maeve, and she is like Wonder Woman, and she can't fly. So she's just like a really good Amazonian type fighter. And she's also a closeted like bisexual. And she used to date like Homelander. And for the most part, she's like the nicest one in the group. Then you have A-Train. He is like the Flash. He's super fast. I like the way they make him run a whole lot better than that of the Flash. Like, but still, the best speedster I ever seen was Puck from that of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Now, he has some good CGI, but this dude has it too. Now, this dude is cocky, arrogant, and a drug addict. He doses up on something called Compound V, which I'll explain a little bit later. Then you have the Deep. The Deep is basically Aquaman. And yes, it is that whole corniness Aquaman thing too. But this one has like gills on his stomach and everything. And he's like the pervert one in the group. He's also makes for a lot of good humor in the first season. His journey arc is like interesting. Then you have Black Noir. Now, Black Noir, he's like this ninja assassin type dude. I don't know who he's based off of, because he doesn't look like Batman, but he's dressed all in black. He reminds me of the new vigilante in the comic books. Now, in the show, he's different. He's actually the clone of Homelander in the comics, but in the show, we don't know who he is. He doesn't even take off his mask, but he's played by a black dude. I know that. Now, in The Boys Debacle, I think they established, this is like a prequel, a cartoon series, they established that he is, in fact, a clone. He was actually Homelander before Homelander was Homelander, or whatever that means. So he never says anything. He's very stealthy. In fact, him and Queen, I forgot they were even in the first season because nothing really happens with them. And then you have Translucent. Translucent, he's invisible. I don't know who he's based off of. He's very cocky and he has a family. In order for him to be invisible, he has to be naked. So he's more like the Invisible Woman. Then you have this one dude, I forget his name, but he appears in the second season. He kind of quit in the first, so that's why they had to look for a new member in the form of Starlight. Starlight is the rookie, the new recruit. She is like an old school hero. Her mom dressed up kind of like a princess type thing. You see her training in the first season. She's all about being a hero. So when she gets into the vault in the seven, she's very shocked that they don't really fight crime. They just stage everything, and everything's about publicity. So it's not her cup of tea. Now, when she shows up in the first day, she's talking to the Deep and talking about how she had a crush on him. He decides to take this advantage, pull down his pants, and wave his junk like around her, wanting her to do it. Then he starts sexually harassing her, threatening to like ruin her career. She doesn't do this and she doesn't do that, and she's disgusted by this, and she lets this go on for like a couple of episodes until something happens with him, and then she brings it up. So then he gets kicked out, and he has to do like this. He's trying to do like this PBA type thing of like oh sex offenders are wrong and this and that. But then he goes to this weird journey where he's all alone, has to be in a hotel. He's not used to this. He's used to having people like wait on him hand and foot. He tries to rescue a dolphin from like the aquarium type thing, and then he gets into a car crash where it busts through the window, and then a semi truck runs over it. Then he wants to rescue a lobster out the lobster tank at a restaurant because he's sad and depressed, only for the person who cooks it up stabbed it in the head. And wait till you get to the second season with the whale. Oh man. But so he's not used to being alone, and he hates being kicked out of the group. So he's going through this weird journey. But then he understands what he did was wrong to Starlight and other girls, because he gets sexually assaulted himself when he's making out with this one woman. She wants to see his gills. But then she takes her hands and she shoves her hands up in them, and when he keeps telling her to stop, she won't stop. So then he gets it finally and everything. And so, trying to think, would there anybody else? No. So Stormfront, she shows up in the second season. And so with the seven, Homelander is like the main boss of bosses. He's the most evil one of them all. He's the evil Superman type dude. And like he's always threatening like the people who hire like the people who work for him, like the writers and stuff. He's always telling like the crowd, you're the real heroes and everything. But he hates the public. He hates the crowd. He gets so angry. He fantasizes about using his laser vision and just like murdering everybody. And he's very unstable in the head. He has a bizarre, very bizarre lust over Madeline Stillwell. Now, she got race bent for the show. She's played by Elizabeth Shue. And, from Back to the Future, Jennifer Parker. And so, like, she was also on The Karate Kid. So, what's odd about him is that he's always lusting over her, looking at her, watching her feed her baby. He doesn't like her baby at all. He's very jealous of it. And he watches her when she pumps the milk, like from the breast pump, and it's just bizarre and weird. And he has this weird fetish for her, and she knows that. Sometimes she'll use it to her advantage when he's getting out of line and wants to start hurting people, and she cradles him like a baby. It's the weirdest thing. But then we later find out that the person kept him in a lab and ran a bunch of experiments on him, so he never really had a family like everybody else. And so, like, he used to date Queen Maeve, and he told her, now that we're broken up, if you date anybody, like, I'll kill that person and stuff. So when she started dating this one girl, she had to break up with her because she was terrified for her. And so that causes problems in their relationship. And like I said, Queen Maeve is barely in the show. She's nice to Starlight, but also she just snubs her and just rude to her at times too. And so that's basically with her. But the one thing with her and Highlander that was like insane was that they had to stop like a plane crash, right? And so all the people on the plane, they was excited because here come the heroes there to save them. because there was three terrorists on them. Now on the plane. Now in the comic book, it was actually 9/11. Now for the show, they didn't do that. They still had a plane and terrorists. It's not 9/11. I understand why. And so like he killed all the terrorists, but then there was a terrorist with the captain. Like a fool, he used his laser vision and it cut like it bust a hole through the windshield, and it like messed up all the equipment. And so the captain dude died, and so now the plane's about to crash, and Maeve's all like, we have to save these people, and she tells him just like fly outside and lift the plane and land it. And he's all like, "What? I can't do that. I'm not that strong." Cause and she's all like, "What?" Because she didn't think he is strong. Like he's about the strength of like Hercules and Captain America, but not that of Superman. So he can't literally pick up a plane and land it. So they're panicking and they don't know what to do. And then she's all like, well, just fly everybody one by one and everything. And he's all like, that's 120 trips. Like he'll never be able to do it in time, and he'll have to leave some people behind. And he doesn't want to leave nobody behind. He don't want to rescue some people and leave them behind, because then the people who are rescued will tell what really happened. So he tells her, let's just like leave and everything. And she's like, we can't leave these people. He's all like, well, what you want me to do? We're gonna die with them and everything. So then she picks up a little girl she sees with her mom, and she said, just take these two and that's it. And he's all like, I'm not doing it, because once we rescue them, they're gonna rat us out. And then so the mom's like, just take my daughter. And he's like, no, I'm not even just gonna take her. So then people started to realize what's going on, and they started panicking. And then he turns on his laser vision, ready to kill everybody, telling everybody to back up. And then he tells Maeve, come on and everything. She's reluctant, but she doesn't. And the plane crashes and people die. Now, he used this to his advantage. See, Madeline Stillwell, she's been trying to get a contract with the Congress, because she wants the Vault superheroes to work for the U.S. government, but they're very suspicious of that. And so he said, if you would have had me, like, on the plane, blah, 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 earlier, I could have saved everybody. So, of course, now everybody wants to, like, have them in the military, because they tried different ways. She tried blackmailing, like, a congressman by having him well, he thought he was with a girl, but then it was a shapeshifter and turned into like an overweight man and stuff like that. And so they're desperately trying to get that contract, and he's able to do it in one way. See, Compound V, A-Train, he's on that stuff, like steroids and stuff. Basically, it enhances a superhero superpowers. They call them soups, and he's basically a drug addict. I haven't even gotten to the boys yet. Don't worry, I am. And so A-Train smuggles it and stuff. What Homelander does is that he sends it off to like foreign countries, and they create super villains and everything, terrorists. So now he's all like, look, y'all, terrorists, super terrorists. And who's going to stop them? Us. So then they get the contract they need and everything. It's like an ingenious plan. And it also kind of backfires a little bit. Now, I'm trying to think with the other heroes. They don't really do nothing. So I might as well get into that of the boys. The Boys is a Black Ops CIA group that was founded by a woman named Mallory. Now, in the comic books, Mallory was a man. They're led by Billy Butcher. Billy, he hates superheroes to death, but he ain't used to. He only started hating them when Homelander sexually assaulted his wife, and then she went missing for 8 years. He's hated them ever since, and Mallory used that to her advantage to recruit him. And so basically what his job is to infiltrate like soups, kill them, this and that, you know what I'm saying? And when I say he hates them with passion, he hates them. Now he recruits other humans to help him. Mother's Milk is this one man who's like a former Marine, like medic and everything. There's Frenchie, who's like the tech guy and the drug dealer and stuff like that, and a weapons person. He can basically create anything. Then he recruits the newest person, Huey. Now this is what happened with Huey. Huey is first seen in the beginning. He's with his girlfriend Robin. They're talking, and A Train literally runs through Robin, busting her in a million pieces. Blood is everywhere. So since he created this boo boo, the Vault they want him to sign like an NDA and have like, what's his name, apologize and this and that. This is when Billy comes in and recruits him and starts using him for his means and stuff. Because Mother Milk and Frenchie, they had broke up when something happened to Mallory's family. So then he has Huey like plant like a bug, but it backfires and Translucent, the invisible dude, finds out. Him and Billy end up trying to fight him, and then they finally capture him. But Billy wants him dead. But they don't know how because his skin is made of diamonds that reflect light. So they had to call in Frenchie. Frenchie is trying everything. Bullets don't work. He made a bullet out of the same diamond material as his skin, but it ricochets off everything because he can't find them to use it. So then he's all like, oh, I can just use like C4, plastique or whatever. And so he puts that inside him. After a while, Homelander is searching for him. So they go out and Huey has like the detonator. And Translucent trying to get away, trying to bribe his way out of there. But Huey decides, you know what, I'm just going to blow you up. So Huey kills his first superhero, and Billy is loving it. And so, like, at some point in time, Huey befriends Starlight when she's in her secret identity. And so they start to hit it off. Now, that's kind of weird because his girlfriend literally just died, and he's already talking to another girl. So, but they hit it off really good. Billy finds out and he wants Huey to use this to his advantage, and he does, and he uses Starlight. And Starlight is like having a crossroads because it's like she wanted to be in the 7, but now she hates the 7. She hates being used by the 7, and now she's hating being used by Huey. And so like they basically infiltrate like a lot of stuff trying to get information because they're trying to get their hands on Compound V. If they can use that and expose them, then they hope to then people start hating the suits. And this is what's really interesting. At some point, it takes them to like this one place, I think like an Asian place, and they see this Asian girl being tied up. She's been experimented on with Compound 8 or V as an adult. And so like Frenchie helps rescue her, but she takes off running. She has super strength. She can regenerate. She has very animalistic type behavior. A Train is looking for her because apparently, remember when I said Homelander has A Train to smuggle that stuff and create terrorists? She's from Japan, and she was part of this like militant type terrorist group. And her and her brother, and so like now they're looking for her because they don't want her spilling the bean. Now she has select mutism. Her name is Kimiko, but they call her the female in the comics. And so after a while, Frenchie is able to like befriend her. It takes a good while, but like she starts to act normal. But then they are attacked again. So at some point in time, the 7 is like on to the boys, because at one point they get like this one person who can like read people's thoughts and memories and stuff, and they also blackmail A Train's girlfriend, Pop Claw, because she gets high on this stuff and she killed the dude when she did some type of sexual thing to him. And so, like, because they need this Compound V. So, as they're like hot on their trail and everything, the psychic dude spills the beans to the seven. So they start hitting the boys like Holmes and stuff. And Mother Milk's family is in danger and all this other stuff. So Billy kills the psychic dude and all this other stuff. But Billy is starting to get suspicious of Huey because Huey is spending more time with that Starlight and spies on him. And when he sees them doing it, he realizes he needs to save Huey. So what does he do? When A-Train and the rest of the seven start to find out about the boys and their pictures and stuff, they show Starlight, and Starlight is shocked to find out that Huey is part of that. So when she goes to talk to him, because she's been being used by him, boom, Butcher Billy, he shoots the crap out of Starlight. But she regenerates. A lot of these suits have like super strength and everything, and durability. So now Billy is all like, you know what? It's now or never. We have to take these dudes out. But there's a problem. The seven is still looking for them. And they eventually find them in like a hotel. And so Kimiko and Frenchie and Mother's Milk, they're taken away by like this rogue black ops like group that works for Vault. At some point in time, I forgot to mention, it is found out how these superheroes are made. See, they think they're born that way. No. Butcher and Mother's Milk at one point went into a lab and they saw a bunch of babies. And the babies are superheroes being fed Compound 8. Now, there's a cool scene when Billy's being chased by these security guards with guns, and he uses a baby laser vision to kill everybody. And so, yeah, he tells the baby, now you be a good little super, or I'll come after you when you get older. Now it's weird. He hates all superheroes, but he's okay with Kimiko and everything. I guess because she's their friend and she can rip a person's head off with just her bare hands. And so he can use her to fight other supes and stuff. So in a way, they get captured. And it's just Billy and his Huey. And when they realize that, Billy's all like, all right, time to go our separate ways. I'm out. He's all like, what? Like, you just can't do that, man. These are people. We have to save them. Billy don't care. He just uses people. Well, so Huey's gonna rescue them, and he rescues them in a very interesting way with a retainer. He gets captured, and he gives it to Frenchie so he can pick the lock. They get rescued, and so then they go into hiding. So Billy's kind of like, he can't get his hands on no Compound V. His team's been like taken away. So he's just gonna do his best to kill like Homelander and stuff. He finds out Homelander's weakness. It's that Stillwell lady. So what does he do? He kidnaps her. And he straps tons of C4 to her. Well, Homelander's pissed at her at this point in time because he's been talking to a scientist that basically raised him and experimented on him. He wanted to know what happened to Billy's wife. They said she was pregnant. He didn't think he could get nobody pregnant, but she was pregnant and she died in birth because the baby ripped her open, he said. And then the baby died like 10 seconds later. Well, Madeline said she miscarried, so he knew somebody's lying. He goes back to the doctor, then he goes to Madeline. And he tells her, you need to stop lying to me and all this and that because I know the truth. She finally tells the truth. She hid Billy's wife. So she is still alive. He uses his heat vision to burn a hole through her eye sockets. It looks so real that CGI is that good. Then Billy's all like, oh, well, might as well blow us all up. And so he does that. But Highlander rescues him and Stillwell's baby. And so, but we don't find out the baby's rescued to the next season. And so he takes Billy to like a house. And out comes a little boy with blonde hair. And then out comes Billy's wife. And then he tells the little boy, I'm your father, as his eyes turn red to little boys and stuff. And then it goes into next season. Now, I believe the ending for this had changed. Because I believe in the comics, Billy's wife is actually dead or something like that. And so, yeah, a lot. Oh, I forgot to mention. So, with the seven, A-Train finds Starlight and Huey. He's pissed because she betrayed him. So, him and her fight. But he has a heart attack from the VA. No, Compound V. So Huey, the nice guy that he is, gives him CPR. And then Starlight does it. And so he lives into the next season, which causes a whole more problems and stuff. And so, like, yeah, it's just insane, this show. You have to watch it and experience for yourself. It is hilarious. See, with the MCU, people laugh at the MCU. They don't laugh with it. With the boys, you laugh with it. It is very well acted, very well written. I can't believe Homelander is the dude who played David in Xena from David and Goliath. That was years ago. So anyway, yeah. And it's funny because he's a New Zealand actor playing an American, and Queen Maeve is an Irish actress playing like a Greek woman and stuff. Oh boy. But yeah, you have to watch this show. Like I said, the only drawback is no action. Um, it does have emotion, but it's not the type of drama emotion that of like the CW. So it's kind of like it's weird when you watch the CW Arrowverse shows. It's kind of like, why can't their drama and everything else be more hard hitting like that of the Netflix Marvel or the boys, you know? And so like I truly believe if like they had the drama of probably like the Arrowverse or like Doom Patrol and they had some action like that of Teen Titans or Titans, whatever it's called, it would be a perfect show then. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.